Hello all, my name is Prabhakar. I'm making a series of videos available to you to learn Amazon Web Services. And in this session, I'm going to talk about Amazon API gateways. So here is a content for today's discussion and a brief about API gateway and who can use this API gateway and exactly what is the use of AWS API gateways. And inside a lab, so I'm going to create a API gateway for get and post request, and I will trigger a Lambda function via gateway so that whenever you access API, which was created in an API gateway, so I'm going to stop EC2 instances using this API gateway and just go to the AWS API gateway. So exactly what is that? So API gateway is an AWS service for creating, publishing, maintaining, monitoring, and securing REST and HTTP WebSocket APIs at any scale. API developers can create APIs that access AWS or other web services so that with the help of these APIs, we can access third-party application web services as well as within a AWS resources, we can access that. And that data, we can store it onto the AWS cloud. And as an API gateway, API developer can create APIs for use in your own client applications, or can make these APIs available for third-party app developers. So that the both way, so one can create these APIs for using the internal purpose, and one APIs can use and can create it for third-party application developers so that they can use it as end users. So what are the features of this API gateway? So Amazon API gateway, which offers the following features. It support stateful WebSocket and stateless HTTP and the REST APIs. And it is very powerful and a flexible authentication mechanism such as AWS identity and access management policies and the Lambda authorized functions and Amazon cognitive user pool. Also, we can use it as a part of authentication, and a developer portal for publishing your APIs so that we can publish our APIs into the one of the developer portal on that, and a canary release deployments for the safely rolling of the changes so that with the help of this canary release deployment, so it will segregate what are the your API traffic which belongs to staging and which are the APIs belongs to the production deployment, so that with the help of this canary release, so we can easily maintain that. And the cloud trails for the logging and the monitoring purpose, so how the your APIs are accessing and how the API changes are happening on that. And these logs, we can use it for the alarm purpose, so that at any point of time, so if too many people are accessing your APIs, so we can create some alarms, and based on these alarms, so we can generate different kinds of CloudWatch metrics on that. And it has the ability to use AWS cloud formation templates to enable the API creations. So this cloud formation template, so either we can create a JSON file or either we can create XML file, so that by using this XML and JSON file, so we can specify these APIs as a part of the cloud formation, so that enter your project environment, starting from the creation of the instance and the deployment of the applications and creating the VPC and enabling the load balancing and creating the database instances and creating the API gateways, everything we can specify it into the single cloud formation template, so that at any point of time, you can use this cloud formation template as an input to your AWS cloud, so that so your AWS cloud, that command line argument will take your cloud formation template as an input, and it will create all the resources as per your requirement. So there are a lot many other features are available, and one of the important feature is that so either you create a API, and it will also support a custom domain names. So if you have a custom domain, so you can go to the Route 53 and you can modify and do the required changes. And so that instead of using AWS provided the complete API gateway, I mean endpoint, so it is very tedious to remember that. So instead of doing that, I can create a friendly name by using a custom domain, like so if I say techup.com/shopping, instead of using aws.console.15671./shopping/items. It's a very tedious to remember that. So I can create some friendly names on this. So I already covered Route 53 entries, how we can do the custom domain, and how we can access it is EC2 instances using the custom domains. So in my previous video, so I have specified these data into the link. So you can go ahead and then check that. And first of all, let's check what is the architecture of API gateway. Let's take an example. This is the image which I have downloaded from the AWS documents. So I'm actually clicking that. So instead of doing that, okay, let's take an example. Here is the, so suppose I want to do some shopping in Amazon website, e-commerce website, so that I can buy the mobile, I can buy something, I can do some returns, and I can also place the items into the cart. I can search the products. So here, let's take an example. Here are the set of clients, so that someone can directly do the streaming. So this streaming can be happened as a part of Amazon Prime, and someone can use the mobile or web browser, so in order to browse the products and do the shopping. And someone can integrate the IoT devices and directly connect it to your cloud. And someone can connect it to the by using some private channel, using private connectivity. So whatever the request, okay, either it could be a streaming, or either it could be a web request or mobile request, or any IoT device event request, or any special network request. So all the requests will go through Amazon API gateway only. So that this API gateway, so with the help of this API gateway, actually your business logic and actually your services will keep remaining to the backend of the AWS cloud. Whatever the request come to the AWS API gateway, this API gateway, so we can integrate it with the following API services, like that could be AWS Lambda or Amazon EC2 or Kinesis or DynamoDB or some other services in terms of EC2 instance, or maybe some RDS, and doing the load balancing. So lot many things we can do it, and we can integrate that, so that and based on your requirement, suppose I want to serve the product. Okay, if I place the request, if I access the API and inside my API gateway, so and this API gateway, so it will go to the respective implementation, and it will bring and it will extract the information, and it will hand over to the end users. So this is how the overall flow will happen. And your entire business logic and everything will keep remain backend. And why the API gateway is required? Suppose the same thing I can also do with the help of by following the traditional approach, but still why API gateway is required? Because API gateway which supports two kind of developers who actually use the API gateway. One is for the API developers, second one is for the app developers. So these API developers create and deploy an API which enables the functionality in the API gateway, so that an API developer must be an IMA user, and he can use that. That means that, so suppose if I'm an API developer, I can create an API, I can deploy that. That means that I have authority to create an API, I can deploy that. Okay, so this deployed API, someone can use that. And the second one is application developers. So these application developers are something like, okay, I create an API as a developer, and end user can use that. So like as I said, so in Amazon, so suppose if I'm an Amazon employee, I can create an API for my e-commerce application. And if you are a user for my website, and you can use that API for accessing that. Similarly, like HDFC and SBI, and there are plenty of banking systems are available, private and public sector enabled banks. So, so these all banks are these are the banks exposed a set of APIs for the transaction and the withdrawal and depositing the money and doing some UPI transactions. So for that, so the API developers are the bank people, and Google Pay and Phone Pay, so and Beam. So these are the users who are going to consume these APIs. Okay, so they don't require to be part of and they don't require any authentication for doing that. So they should use the proper credentials. Okay, they don't require, and they should not be part of the AWS. Okay, they should not be part of the bank, right? So they can use these APIs by providing them some credentials, okay, for accessing the specific APIs. So for that, these API application developers can use that, so that they can use this for extending or for using for the third-party applications. Okay. In this demo, I'm going to create API gateway for the get and post request, so that I'm going to trigger the Lambda function with the help of this API gateway. So if I put the get command, get API, so that it will return the list of EC2 instances available on my AWS account, and with the help of post gateway. So what I'm going to do that. So I'm going to stop all the running instances. Okay, and at the same time, so I'm going to create a Lambda function here, and I'm going to enable the required permissions, and here I'm going to use the Python on this. I'm going to create two APIs, and first API, get API. This API I'm going to use it for extracting and fetching all EC2 running instances from my AWS account. And second, post API, there I can perform the two actions. And the first action, I'm going to stop one EC2 instance by using provided instance ID. And second action, I'm going to stop all EC2 instances by using the post action. Now let's go to AWS. Here is my AWS management console. And here, go to services and type API gateway. So as I described in a previous slide, I'm going to create two APIs, and each API is pointed to the different Lambda function, and the get API is pointed to different Lambda function, which will return a set of EC2 instances are running. And second, post API, which is going to point to another Lambda function, where I can perform the two actions, stop a single instance and stop all instances. And after going to API gateway, here you can choose different types of API. Your API could be HTTP or WebSocket or REST API or REST API, which can access within a virtual private the virtual private connection, that's a VPC. So here I'm creating a REST API here, and you can also import your existing API. You can click on build REST API. So create a new API. Here by default, it will give an example API here, so which supports the Swagger 2.0 and API definition. And instead of using example API, so I'm going to create a new API from scratch. And here I'm giving my API name as, for example, management. Okay, so management and API. So where I'm going to manage my EC2 instances, like getting all EC2 instance IDs, and stopping the EC2 instance, and stopping all the EC2 instances. Create an API, and so here it will prompt you that. So now, as of now, I don't have anything here. So here I'm going to create a resource here, and for that resource, I'm going to create the get resource here. So I can use the get, and you can say create a resource, or I can say EC2, and create resources on that. Okay, and inside that, so before jumping to that, okay, let me create a Lambda function here. Now go to the services, the Lambda function, and create a Lambda function. So I will create two sample Lambda functions here. Then after that, based on the type of the API, so I will map my API gateway to the respective Lambda function. So inside this Lambda function, I'm creating the Lambda function here. And so here I'm using the Lambda function name is, for example, okay, get EC2 instances is my Lambda function. For that, I'm going to write Python code here. So I'm going to select Python 3.6 or 2.7. And the permission is a very important factor here. So here I'm choosing an existing role, which I already created with the EC2 full access. So with the help of this, what it can do that, okay, so I can get the full access, so that my Lambda function can perform the required access on that. So if you want to create any of the new role on that, so you can go to IMI And inside that, okay, go to, okay, so here is my management console, so where I can do the identity and access management, and you can go to the roles and you can create a new role. And inside this role, you can select that the Lambda, and you can say create a permissions, and here you can type EC2, okay, and EC2 full access, okay, so that so you can read the entities, and you can delete the entries, and you can shut down and you can terminate all EC2 instance as per your requirement, okay. So now go back to the Lambda function, okay. So inside this Lambda function, okay, so here I'm choosing that is to full Lambda function, and now create that, okay. It is one of the Lambda function, and similarly I'm going to create another Lambda function, okay, so which supports stopping EC2 instances whenever I call the API gateway. So go to the Lambda function again, create another Lambda function, so I can use it as stop EC2 instances, and choose the Python, and permission should be EC2 EC2 full access, which I have created the role, and click on create Lambda function. Yeah, so now I have two Lambda functions I have created. Now let's go and create API gateway here, and inside this resource group, okay, I'm going to create two APIs, and one of the API is EC2, okay, and I can go to create a method. Inside this method, I'm going to use a get method here, okay, and copy that method, paste it. So after successful submitting that, okay, you can choose the integration type, whether you want to integrate your API with the HTTP, and so that I can specify the endpoints accordingly, and so that I can also do the Route 53 entries, and custom domain I can specify it, and the mocking purpose, so and AWS service or VPC link or Lambda integration. So I'm using as a Lambda integration here, and make sure that your Lambda function and your API gateway should be within same region. And here I can specify that my Lambda function name is a get EC2 instances, and save the changes. And this is a default timeout is very important here, so it is going to be take as a 21 seconds, okay, by default. And after doing that, okay, now this is done, and similarly I'm going to create another API, and click on the resource and click on create a method, okay, and here I'm choosing that the post API, okay, and this for this post API, and again I'm going to integrate with my Lambda function. Earlier I have integrated with the get EC2 instance Lambda function. Now I'm going to integrate with stop EC2 instance Lambda function, so that I can segregate my source code into the two different Lambda functions. One Lambda function will fetch all EC2 instance IDs, and it will return back to us, and one Lambda function which will take instance ID and stop that instance. And one action is that, so I can stop all the instances. So now save the changes, okay. And if you see that, okay, I have two APIs, and inside EC2 I have two APIs. One is a get API and the post API. Now my API development is done. Okay, if you want to test something, what you can do, and if you go to the get get API, and you can click on the test, okay. So here I'm not going to provide anything here, and if I click on next, okay, here is the body from the get EC2 instance body, okay. Here is the response from coming from the Lambda function, and similarly I can test the post API. So here is in the post API, I can click here, and I can go here in the request body. I can specify any of the parameters, like if I use something like this and say next, okay, and here is the output from the another Lambda function, that is a stop EC2 instance. So now it's time to write a code, and before writing into the code, okay, I done all the changes. Now click on the main URL, and go to the actions. You have to deploy your API. So in order to perform and in order to expose your API outside the world, and click on deploy API, and what kind of stage you have to use it. So I can say, I can say like it's my the testing, okay, and testing is a stage. So I can segregate it as a dev stage and staging and production. So I'm using it as a testing. Now deploy, and once you deploy that, this API is available for you. So if you go here on the get API, so you can click on the expand, and if you go to the get API, so here you can find the get API here. This is the get API for you. Sorry, so here is a get API for you, okay, and here is a post API for you. So the both the APIs are looks like same, and inside that API itself, I can perform the multiple actions on this. So if I click on this API, okay, here is the output from the system. Now go back to your Lambda function, the first Lambda function, to get list of list of EC2 instance which are running on the system. And before doing that, okay, I'm going to create 3 EC2 instances, okay, for demo purpose. Click on the services and go to the compute and EC2. And inside this EC2 instance, I'm going to create 3 different EC2 instances for the demonstration purpose, okay. So now launch the instance, okay. So all these details, how can we manage, how to create instance, what are the parameters and the configuration we can do it. So these all already covered in my previous videos, and I have specified the link in the below. You can go ahead and then check that. And I'm choosing the Ubuntu instance and click next. And the default setting is the T2 micro, and go next. And here I'm going to launch 3 different instances, and now say review on launch it, and I don't require any key pair here, okay. And then now create launch the instance, okay. Now go and then check the instances. So currently 3 instances are pending, and those will get started at any point of time. And by the time, so I will go ahead and then write a code for that. So here, so I have selected the platform as a Python, and for managing AWS resources, and we have AWS SDK available, that is a Boto3. With the help of this Boto3, we can use the different REST APIs in order to manage AWS EC2 instances. So I can use the in Boto3, okay. So after that, so what I can do, so this is a API, the get EC2 instances. So this one, I can use it for returning all my EC2 instances. So for that, okay, so here I'm going to write the syntax, like if I say EC2, okay, and inside that I can use a Boto3, and here I can say a resource, and I can specify that the resource type is a EC2 instance. And see, similarly we can also perform it for the S3 and Lambda and RDB, multiple options we can choose that. And now I want to I want to fetch out all EC2 instances which are there in the region. Here is my region, okay, that is US East 1, okay. I can specify that the US East 1, okay. Let me expand this. Okay, US East 1, US East 1. And so once you specify that, now your EC2 object is ready. Now I want to return all the EC2 instances, but it is best a good idea to return only running instances instead of the returning all the terminated and stopping instances, okay. And here if you see that inside that, okay, if you go here, okay, here all the instances are running, and if you stop any one of the instances, still it will return all the instances. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to return only running instances here, okay, instead of returning all the instances. So for doing that, okay, so I'm going to write a filter here so that it will return filter. And so inside that I can specify here is a name, Okay, and so inside that I want to filter only the instance state name. Okay, and which values are and so I want to return only the running instances. Okay, so after doing that, okay, I can find the all the instances. Okay, all instances. Here I can say is to instant instances dot filter, and here I can use that. Okay, here is my filters, and filters I can use it as a condition for better understanding purpose, because here also I'm going to use the filters. Okay, I can use the filter, and here I can say condition. Okay, so from all instances IDs, I can get all the instance IDs here. Okay, so and what I'm going to do here is instance underscore IDs. Okay, for I can say instance in and instance all instance IDs. Okay, or maybe I can also write the code in such a way that, okay, inline for loop. Okay, all the instances, and below I can say, okay, instance dot. Okay, and here is ID. Okay, so it will return all the instances details like instance state and instance name and the region and all. So I'm fetching only the instant IDs, and all the instant IDs I'm appending into my list, and that list I'm returning it from this section. Okay, so here I can say instance underscore IDs and instance underscore IDs. Okay, now go ahead and then save the changes, and save the changes. After saving the changes, you can go to API gateway, and here you can find the get API here. Here is my get API, and for that get API, here is the endpoint for that get API for invoking the get. So you can copy this link, and you can open into another tab. So here you can find that, okay, what are the EC2 instances which are running on my AWS account. So yeah, so this here it is very important to do some slight configuration changes in the Lambda function in order to handle timeout issue. So because if you go to the Lambda function, so and by default it has 3 seconds of timeout already configured. If you scroll down below, and inside the basic settings you can find that. Okay, so here is a timeout 3 seconds, but when you are working with EC2 instance or maybe any AWS resources, it is very difficult to connect to that EC2 instance at the first attempt within a 3 seconds. There might be some timeout issue. So that's why it is better to actually make it as a 10, and once you connect it to that, so then you can perform parallel operations within a fraction of seconds. But only thing is that for the connectivity and creating an object and getting the data, it will take some time. So that's why I'm making it as a 10 seconds. It is very important here. And after making that, you can go to again under your API and refresh the changes. And after refreshing the changes, you can find that, okay, 3 EC2 instances which I'm running, and these are the 3 EC2 instance IDs. Okay. So, so by using a get API, so I have successfully invoked my Lambda function. That Lambda function which returned all running EC2 instances. Okay, so now it's time to create a post API. So with that post API, which will take the different parameters as a body and request body, and then where I can stop the one instance, or maybe I can stop all the instances. Now let's go to another Lambda function. Okay, here is my Lambda function. Okay, let's go to Lambda functions. Open stop EC2 instances Lambda function. There you can also use the same set of coding. So you can zoom it, And here I'm going to write import Boto3. Okay, so after importing that, what I'm going to do here, I'm following the same approach. So here I'm going to create a EC2. Here I'm going to create one of the object EC2, and for that I can say Boto3 dot client. So earlier I have used resource because I want to capture the information from that, and here I'm using it as a client. So with the help of this client, I can manage the EC2 instance and go to EC2. And once object is created, and also we can also provide some additional parameters like here is my region underscore name. I can use it as a US East 1. So because because my EC2 instance are created on US East 1 region, and also my Lambda function on the same region, but make sure that whenever you are performing something, and make sure that your API gateway and your Lambda function should be on the same region for the better connectivity, as well as avoiding any kind of security and then other issues. So after connecting that, what you can do that, okay, now I have successfully connected and created EC2 instance, instance object, and by using this object, I can actually stop any of the instances here. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pass the request body is something like action. Okay, so inside this action, I can specify that, okay, either it could be a stop or it could be a stop all. And if it is a stop all, then I'm going to stop all these two instances. And if it is a stop, and if I use it as a stop, then I'm going to pass it as a IDCM. Okay. So and by using these IDs, I'm going to stop only the respective ID enabled EC2 instance. So based on that, I'm going to write the post method here, and here if I can use it as if, and whatever the things I'm entering that, okay, those will be captured as a part of the event. And here I can say action, and if my action and which contains, okay, it is a stop, okay, and only one entry which can be stopped. And here what I'm going to do here, I'm going to capture the IDs, okay, that IDs I'm going to send it from my request object. And once IDs is there, then you can say, I can check that, okay, if IDs are there, then go down and say that is to dot, okay, and stop instances, okay. And here I can specify that instance IDs equal to, okay, IDs, okay. So this is how I can stop the instances. And next one is the, and so for the timing, let's go ahead and then test the changes, okay, and save the changes. And so before actually testing that, okay, what I'm going to do, the same way I'm going to increase the timeout functionality for my Lambda function. And these all settings already explained in my previous video. How can you create a Lambda function, and so what is this concurrency and what is this memory, and so these are options already explained that, okay, you can go ahead and then check that video, and I have specified that link into the description. And here I'm specifying timeout as 10 seconds by default, okay. After doing that, what I'm going to do here, here are the and I'm going to open the Postman here, okay, just open the Postman. And inside a Postman, I will use the APIs, okay. So there are two APIs, get API. Here is my get API. So let's copy that get API, copy this link, and inside a Postman, and request, and I can say something like a sample. After that, I'm going to create another API. Okay, here paste that. Okay, here is my get API, and it is a get. And so if I call that API, so I can get the output is something like this. Okay, so let me zoom it. Yeah. So here is my get API, and it was created in API gateway. And so if I call that API, and here is the output, okay, instance IDs, I'm getting all the instant APIs. So after getting that, okay, just copy this, okay. And I'm going to create another, I'm going to call another API that is a post API, okay, you can go to the post, okay, and copy this URL, okay, and go here, and you can put it as a post, okay. So there in the request body I can specify and so here I can go ahead and then select a raw so that I can directly write my JSON object here. I'm using it as an action, and here I'm using it as a stop, okay. And for the IDs I'm going to pass the following IDs here. You can go ahead and check that, okay. So here are the available IDs, okay. So I'm going to copy one of the ID for testing purpose, and ID, okay. And now you can call this API and check that, okay, what happened and how this is reacting. Yeah, so here if you see that, okay, there is an issue, okay, the parameter validation is required. Unknown parameter is input instance underscore IDs must be one of instance, okay. So what I'm going to do here, so instead of sending it as a IDs as a list, okay, I can send it as one item. Let's see that, okay, what happened on this. Yeah. So let me go to the coding block, okay, how this is developed. Here is the coding block, and I connected to both to 3, and the client has been created, and it should be the capital I, and you can say capital instance IDs and save the changes. Now go back to your Postman, and so here I'm passing the instance IDs into the list of IDs. You can go ahead and then call this function now. Yeah, see, so if it is returning the hello world, so that means that, okay, so your instance is successfully started for stopping that, okay. If you refresh that, so here if you see that, okay, so here is a ID which I have passed, okay, that's 1002 and 1002, that was actually stopping that, okay. So it is working perfectly. Now I want to extend this functionality. With the help of that, I can stop all the instances, okay, irrespective of the IDs and all. I can I can copy this code and that code block, okay. And after copying that, okay, here I can say if I pass the action as a stop all, okay. So if I pass it as a stop all, then I want to stop all the running EC2 instances in respect of provided instance IDs and all. So here I'm using it as a condition, and so for that condition I can specify that, okay, name, okay, I want to stop only the running instances, and if I'm trying to stop any already stopped instance or terminated instance, then it will throw an exception. And okay, so here I could say and here let's take an example, instance hyphen state underscore name, and I want to extract all the values of EC2 instance whose status is running, okay, and all running instances I can get it. And the below, so what I'm going to do here, so here so I'm going to create another EC2 instance object. I can say, okay, EC2 underscore get, okay, the Boto 3 dot resource, and here I can say EC2, okay. So I can create an EC2. Then after creating that, so I can go down below, and here I can write a code block. So for getting all the EC2 instance, first of all, then I can stop all these EC2 instances, okay, at one go. So after doing that, okay, so what I'm going to do here, I can specify that, okay, here are the instances, okay, and EC2 dot get dot, okay. So here I can filter all the instances, okay. So instances dot filter, and I can say filter and filters. So here I can say condition, okay. So it will fetch all the running instances only. And so it will return to the instance as instances are the list of instance objects, EC2 instance objects. And I'm going to get all instance IDs here. So I can specify that, okay, ID is equal to blank, and you can see instance, maybe I can say IDs, okay, and here instance dot ID in for instance in instances, okay. So maybe I can say all EC2 instances. And so here I can get all the EC2 instance IDs, okay. So once instance IDs are available, so then I can use the command like EC2 dot stop and instances, okay. So here I can pass the instance IDs and equal to followed by IDs, okay. So it will stop all these EC2 instances. So now save the changes, okay. So before trying this API, so one of the EC2 instances in a stop mode, okay. What I'm going to do that, okay, let me, okay. So if I hit that API, stop all EC2 instances, so then this instance is already stopped, and with the help of this clone block, okay, I can get only the running instances. That means that I can get the 2 instance IDs, and by using these 2 instance IDs, I can stop, okay, those 2 instances automatically by calling that API. So now go back to your Postman, okay. So inside this Postman, I'm going to copy, and I'm going to call another API here. And earlier, my request body was this, and instead of using this request object, go to post and body and raw. Instead of using it, instead of passing the instance IDs, okay, I can pass the stop all, okay, and now hit the API, and you can find the response here. And that response, we can customize it as per our requirement, and accordingly we can send the custom message here. And if you see that, okay, hello from the Lambda, and if I go here and then refresh the window, so now all these EC2 instances are stopping successfully. So this is how we can create the Lambda functions, and we can create API gateways, and we can segregate our traffic to the different Lambda functions, and we can trigger the Lambda functions with the help of API gateway. And based on the your API, so you can perform the some of the actions, okay, like stopping EC2 instance and inserting the data into the DB, or getting the data from the DB, and as well as at the same time we can also assign additional rows to the end users and provisioning of EC2 instance. Lot many things we can perform it by using APIs. And for consuming these APIs, suppose I created an API and I provided this API to end users, and end user is going to use that API. So if end user wants to use this API, it doesn't require to end user should be part of this AWS account. Okay, so you can provide the required request body, and then we can do the job. Okay, so I'm going to manage APIs, and he's going to use that APIs. So this is how we can. The biggest advantage on this. Okay, I can create an API, and end users can use it, and they can do the job, and without providing access to all the EC2 instances. And we come to end of this lab, and I hope you enjoy this lab, and so hope you get a chance to work on API gateway and integrate in the Lambda functions, and so manage your EC2 instances with the help of the API gateway. Thank you so much for watching this video.